So this is Neelaveni, and I'm going to share this assignment problems on Java. Solutions for that. So the first one is the first program is reversing the numbers. So in that, the first thing is I have to give the input as the sequence. Either it can be an input sequence, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4, 3, 2, 1, or 5, 6, 7. So whatever the number I'm giving, it has to be reversed. So now I'm going to give the enter some sequence. So if I'm going to give the sequence of a numbers, that number has to be reversed. For example, if I'm going to give a number as 1, 2, 3, 4, the output must be 4, 3, 2, 1. So for giving the input, I have to use scanner. Scanner with the object name GE. I'm using an object name called GE, which is equal to new scanner system.in. And whenever I'm going to get the input, I have to use import Java. So when I click here, I can accept this particular syntax. And after getting the input as I enter the sequence, I have to type the numbers. If I need to type the numbers, then I have to write this particular syntax int num. Num is another integer which I am going to declare at the initial part, which is equal to that particular object dot next integer. As because I am going to give the input as integer only, it is going to be int. And if I am going to give it as a string, then I have to use string here. So it is next integer and the methods and then semicolon. So now I'm going to give the input here. So this is the part where I'm going to give the input like this. So now I have to reverse this. So for reversing or for getting the unit numbers, for getting the unit numbers and for getting the tens, hundreds, and thousands, the last numbers, or I have to divide it repeatedly. How I have to divide it? So whenever I'm dividing it and I'm getting the reminder, that reminder will give um, um, the last value. So now I'm initiating the reversed value as 0 here. And now this num value, that is up to the last value, if I'm giving up to 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it is about 4 values. And as up to these four values, it has to repeat until it has covered all the values. First 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So all the values, it has to be reversed. So we have to verify up to that. So we have to initiate a looping condition for that. So I'm using while condition for this. No. As because I do not need any increment values here, so I'm not using the for loops. So that's why I'm using the while loop here. So now here, the algorithm for reversing this input sequences reverse the number, that is I have initialized as 0, 0 into 10 plus the number whatever I have given, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 modulo 10. So here, for example, I have taken 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 into 0. So the remainder, it is 0. A reminder, the REV value, that is the reversing value, is going to be 0. So 0 into 10, it is 0 plus num divided by 10. Num modulo 10, it is not divided by 10, it is modulo 10. So num, it is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 modulo 10 is, that is actually we are dividing 1, 2, 3, 4 by 10, and the remainder value is going to be the modulo value. And when I'm going to divide by that, I'll be getting the value as 4. 4 will be the remaining value. So here first I'll take the value of 4. And then it comes here as num is equal to num divided by 10. And the num value, I know that it is 1, 2, 3, 4. That is what I have given in the sequence. Um, So if it is 1, 2, 3, 4 divided by 10, then the value will be here. It is 1, 2, and 3. As because I'm dividing and getting the quotient, whereas the modulo value is the remainder here. And when I divide here, I have to mention the quotient. So after taking it, first value, this is the reverse number. So it will be checking for whether it has completed up to the num value is not equal to 0. But here it is equal to z. It is equal to some value. So it has to check again and again whether it is equal to 0 or not. So now here again it goes back. So now when it goes back again here, this one will be 4 and this 4 value will be again it has to be reminded back like REV is equal to 0, whereas the previous value 4 is set as or initialized as revised value is equal to 4. So 4 into 10 now. 4 into 10 plus the again the num value is 1 to 3 here modulo 10. 1 to so it is 4 into 10, that is 40 plus and then 1, 2, 3 divided by 10. So as it is 1, 2, 3 divided by 10, I have to take the modulo value of 3. So as because the remainder is 3, it is not the quotient value. Therefore, here I'll be getting 43. So now the revised value is 4 and 3. And then the number. So I have to divide it. Now this 1, 2, 3, I have to divide. And again, the quotient value will be 1 and 2. So this is what the last value as I have said. Now again, whether it will be checking for the num value is equal to 0 or not. And now when it checks, again, it doesn't comes as 0. So now again, it goes back. The revised value or the reversed value is equal to 43. Now again, 43 into 10. 43 into 10 is 430. It is 430 plus the num value divided by 10. The num value divided by num is 12 here. So num divided by 10 is, so actually I'll be getting the quotient as 1, but the remainder will be 2. Therefore, I'll be getting 432 as the value here. And now the num value is 12 again. So 12 divided by 10. 12 divided by 10 is equal to 1. Now here the num value is set as 1 and the reverse value is set as 432. And again it will be checking whether the number is 0. No, it is not 0. So again we have to go back for the same loop. And here the reverse value is equal to 432. So therefore 432 into 10. So 4320 plus the num divided by 10. The modulo addition, it is 10. So here we know that it is 1 and here as it is we have to write because it cannot be divided. So we are writing it as it is. So therefore this will be 4321. And again when we come here it is num is equal to num divided by 10. So as because here it becomes 0 because we cannot divide it further, it will be stopping here up to that. So now the final value of the, so now again when it goes and check for the values, there is no values to be reversed. So here again the loop will be closed, then it will be coming to the outer layer. So it is that this is the reversed number. So when I execute this one, so this is the reversed number. So it has given the reversed number as 4321. So this is the first program reversing, and then the conversion of the second program is the conversion of number to words. So here also I have received the message as that is given the input sequence as enter the number by using the scanner and the object name is NU and as I'm giving the input as a number, so I have and use the int value, and I have separately used for ones, tens, and hundreds, and then for thousands. As because for ones and tens only, it will be having the individual value, whereas hundreds and thousands we can use the separate term as hundred and thousand. I have used separately. Now, as because the last unit digit can be obtained by dividing it, and by getting the remainder value, I can use the modulo symbol here. So for obtaining the unit value, I need to divide it and get the modulo value. So here I have received the modulo value. That is why I'm using and initiating a number and then dividing it. And after dividing it, I'll be getting a modulo value which gives the remainder of that value. So when I give the remainder value here, the last number will be taken. It is nothing but the unit value. And again, when I divide it by 10, I'll be getting that value. And of course, it will not be the tens place value, but it will be the um, further rectification of will be the further rectification of the tens value, and because it can be divided by 10, and the modulo addition of a modulo of the 10 will be giving the remainder value again, that is the last place value. And then h is equal to 100 by h is equal to the number divided by 100, and the last two values, if I have to get the last value as a place value, then again I have to give the modulo value. And for 1000, again I have to divide the 1000, but here I'm not going to get the last unit value but the first value. Therefore I'm dividing it and I'm taking the quotient as the answer. And I have to assign these answers with the word value. So as I have to assign some numbers to words, I'm using this U, that is the unit for word. Unit word as from starting from 0, because the first value must be a null value. It has to start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is why I have used a null value here, and to I think it is up to 20 I have used. And for unit word, I think it is about, yes, 11, 12, 13, 14, because if I'm using 312, 315, so if I use like that, the unit value may be spelled like that. So that is why I have used this 11, 12 also. Hmm. And then for tens value also, I have used with the tens, because if it is going to be 210 and 510. So just like that we'll be using. So I have included the tens values also to represent it. And then 20, 30, 520. 330, 730, 815. So for that, I have used only the last values as tens, and then for mentioning the hundredth value, I have used 100, as because we are going to represent the unit numbers only. 600, 700 only we are going to use. So we have to combine the unit value and the hundreds value, hundredth value here. And even though for 1000 also, we are going to use with the unit value, 2300. So the unit word will be combined with the 100. The unit word will be 100 combined with the 1000, and then only the tens value will be represented with the final unit values. So I have used all these four strings, and then I have separated for some loops I have taken. For if it is less than 20, it can separately print, like if it is less than 20, it will be going for this if condition. Either directly it can print, that is this particular number. If it is less than 20, it can go only for this particular string word from 0 to 20. And if it is greater than equal to greater than 20 and less than 100, this will be going for up to this 100. That is the third string value it will be taking. So that for that TW of tens, that is this one. This TW with the tens value. Tens value is here. That is the remainder value of here will be taken with the unit word. Because if it is 210, this 2 will be taken. So 210 will be taken. So that is why it is taken with a TW of um, of 10th value, and the unit value will be, it can come up to 19, 20, 20 30 like that. And then for greater than 100 and less than 1000 also I have given the unit value of 100. Unit value of 100 is 200, 300, 400, just like that. So I have combined this unit word with the 300, and again the term 100 has to come. So I have added the 100 here, and then TW, that is the tens value, 320, 320. So that is why I have used 120, or if any unit value is available, that also has to be represented. So for that also I have used this UW. And if the number is greater than 1000 and less than 10,000, again I have to include the unit word, that is 1000. So for that UW 1000, 2000, 3000. So for that only I have used this one. Up to 9,000 I can use. So it will be of 9, only the 9 value, but it will be in the position of this 1000th value, as because I have only divided and I have not taken the remainder value, only the quotient value I have taken. The quotient value will be given here, so 9. And then the 1000 will be represented here, it is 1000. And then again the unit word of 100, 9,300. So 3 will be taken from here. And then 100, for that, this 100 HUND, the modulo number will be, that is a reminder value number will be given, taken here. And then 100 will be represented, then the tens value, and then the unit value will be given here. So now when I take a print out of, so this one first, initially I have set up for printing each and every value. So that is the comments here. So now let me 671. But I have given a number. So 6 is the unit number, and 100 I have given a separate one, and 71 is taken from the TW. TW is the tens value. So this is about the number to word. And then for even numbers, we can check as a simple algorithm, like if it is divided by 2, then all the numbers are even numbers. So I have just given an if loop, whether the given number is, I'm going to give a number, and you have to check whether that particular number is divided by 2. If it is divided by 2, then that is said to be an even number. So that is the if loop I have used. The number is I, and here if I is divided by 2, then system out is I. That is, it is an even number. So from 2 to 100, all the even numbers will be generated, as because we need all the numbers to be represented, all the even numbers to be mentioned from up to 100. From 1 to 100, I have to represent all the numbers. So I'm using the for loop. So here, so I have given from 2 to up to 98, it has to be there. Yes, it is. So I have represented all the even numbers from 1 to 100 by using the condition that whether it is divided by 2 or divided by 2 or not, and the for loop for giving representing all the values. So this is the even number generation, and then even numbers from 1 to 100, and then for odd numbers if it is not divided by 2, if the given number is, if all the numbers from 1 to 100 is divided by 2, then it is said to be even number. And if it is not divided by 2, then that is going to be the odd numbers. So I have used the not condition here, the same even numbers only, but here I have used the not condition. And again the for loop for printing all the values from 1 to 100, all the odd numbers, whether it is not divided by 2. So then that will be an odd number. So it has to come from 1 to 99. So it is starting from 1. All the odd numbers are present here up to 99. So this is the odd numbers. And from 1 for 1 to 100. And then natural numbers is starting from 1. So those are the whole numbers. So for that sum of the natural numbers, we have the formula as n into n plus 1 by 2. So I have used that particular formula. And before that, we have to give some inputs, give some whole number or the natural number as input, so that we can find the sum of the natural numbers. So here I'm giving the inputs as scanner and NA as object. Then I'm giving the number as input. And then for adding the natural numbers, or for giving a some value of the natural numbers, n into n plus 1 by 2. So n is the input. For example, if n is equal to 3, 3 into 3 plus 1 by 2. That is 3 into 4 by 2. So 4 by 2 is 2 and 2 into 3 is 6. So I have to get the value as 6 here for the natural number. For the number n is equal to 3. So just like that. So now I will run it. This. So this is the output for the natural numbers. And then the largest and smallest numbers. For largest numbers, I have compared, I have taken 4 values and I have compared each value with the remaining 3 values. So for example, I have taken the 4 values as A, B, C, and D, and I have compared this A value with the B, and then A with the D. Whereas in between, the loops are completed with the B and C comparison and C and D comparison. So here, I have received the inputs for A, B, C, and D, and I have compared for A is greater, either if A is greater than B or not. If A is greater than B, then it will continue with this loop. If A is greater than B, let us assume that A is greater than B, it will go and check with A and C. And again, if A is greater than C, then again it will go and check with D. If A is greater than A greater than B, C and D will be printing the largest number as A. Or otherwise, if here in the first condition itself, if A is not greater than B, then it will come out of that loop, that is if loop, and go for the last loop as so else, if what happens if it just exits, it will be comparing then the B with the values. If the B is greater, then what happens? So if B is greater, then that is if A is less than B, then print B as the value, highest value. And here we are comparing A is greater than C. And if in this case A is less than C, again it comes out of the loop as C. this particular loop will be it will be out of that particular loop, and it will print the value of C. And again here, if it is greater than C, and it goes for D, and if it is less than D, and the output of the D value is printed, it is printed, or it is given as output. And if it is satisfied as A is greater than D, then at that time A will be given as an input. So now here I'm giving the numbers as 21, 11, I'll check with this because there is an error in this. Again, in the smallest value, the same loop condition is compared. More than that, the lesser value, and the greater sign is changed with the less than sign. And here also I have given the same input. And then square root, the square root is, I'm checking with the input first. First, I'm giving the input, and I have to check whether the number can be obtained by multiplying with the same number again and again, or when I am dividing it, it is giving a reminder as 0. If I'm dividing that particular number with that, then if it is giving the reminder as 0, then that is said to be a perfect square. So I'm giving a number here, and I'm for example, here I'm assuming that it is going to be 64. If it is going to be 64, so if it is going to be 64, now I'm assuming that I'm giving a number as 64. And again, an I value is here. So this I value is now initiated from 1 to n values. That is up to 64, it is initiated. So 64 times it will be going. And now here what happens is n by I, that is 64 by 1, 64 by 2, 64 by 3. So up to that, it will be repeating it again and again. And when it comes for 8, it has to give the value as the same value. So if it is giving the same value at that particular time, it will be printing it as it is a perfect square of I. Otherwise, it will just exit the loop, and it comes for this else if the n by I is not equal to 0. That is, the remainder is not equal to 0. It will be coming out of that. So now here, taking this as, enter the number. Again, 64. It is a perfect square of 8. So this is how the square root numbers works. And then swapping is, so it is a logic here, because when you are giving two numbers, you cannot directly give it as A is equal to B and B is equal to C in between, and a duplicated array, a duplicated variable can be inserted, which is going to store the data temporarily. So I'm assuming that A and B is having the original data, and C is a dummy variable for storing the variable. Storing the data here. So for before swapping, I'm using some data for A and data for B. And then I'm assuming this dummy variable to take the main variable values. B is equal to A. And again here A is equal to B and B is equal to C. So after swapping, this C will be having the value of A, whereas A will be having the value of B, and B will be having the value of C, whereas this is nothing but the value of A. So entering the value, so now I'm giving the value of A as 45, and then B as 36. Now, so before swapping, the A value must be 45 and B value must be 36. And after swapping, it must be 36 and then 45. So here it is. So before swap, it is 45 and 36. And after swapping, it is 36 and 45. So this is the swapping of two numbers. And then copying the arrays, I have given a value of arrays. Like for A, I have given some data, and B is without data, where I'm going to copy the array or the elements of A in B. So I'm taking B is equal to A and the contents of A, because the length of that particular array has to be initiated. So, and up to that, the loop has to complete. Therefore, I am using this for loop for A up to that length, the complete length, and then I'm initiating up to the final value. So, A of I, print the value of A of I first, and then the contents of B is nothing. There is nothing is there in B, but I have initiated B is equal to A. Therefore, again, it has to move from each and every element whenever it is getting going inside the for loop. So I'm executing it now. And I have given the data in the program itself as 9, 92, 93, 94, 91. So the contents of A is 9, 92, 93, 94, 91. And the contents of B is also 9, 92, 93, 94. So this is the copying the array of elements from one variable to another variable, and to find the duplicate of the arrays, I'm initiating an array with some of the numbers duplicated inside it. And when I'm going to compare it repeatedly, I have to find the repeated value which is present in the array. So I'm initiating two variables as I and j, and I'm making it to compare, or either it is equal or not. If it is equal, then you just take a print of that particular number. So for I is equal to 0, I less than a dot length, as it is an array value, I'm initiating this I value, and then again j I have to use for I plus 1, because it has to start from the next value. Otherwise, it will be taking it and repeating it again and again from the first value. So now here it is I plus 1, and then so it is comparing a of I and a of j. That is, the ith value is compared with the jth value, and here it is repeated. So we have to see, check what are the values repeated. It is, I think, 2 and 3 are repeated. All other values are present in a single number only. So when if it is repeated, then it has to print as a of j. So here, so the duplicated element is 2 and 3. So that's all this duplicated array. I think I have completed this copy, duplicated, even, number to word, reversing, smallest square root, and square root using while also I have done, and this swapping. Thank you.